Hey everyone, and welcome. Are you ready for a little pop quiz? Today, we are putting our knowledge to the test on all the amazing materials that build our world. Think you're ready? All right, let's do this. So here's how it works. It's super simple. I'm going to ask a question. You take a second to think up the answer, and then we'll reveal it and see if you got it right. Easy, right? Okay, let's get started. All right, for our first round, we are going right back to the beginning. We're talking the building blocks of, well, pretty much everything we use every single day. Okay, first question up. Take a moment. What exactly are raw materials? What's the first thing that comes to mind? And the answer is, they're materials we find in nature before we've done anything to them. So think of stuff like sand before it becomes glass, or clay before it's baked into a pot. Even oil, right out of the ground, is a raw material. They're still in their natural state. All right, moving on to the next one. We hear this all the time. We combine things to make something new. But what does that word combine really mean when it comes to materials? It means you're joining different things together to make something totally new, something with completely different properties. It's kind of like baking a cake, you know? You combine flour, sugar, and eggs, and you get a cake. It's a brand new substance. That's the magic. Next up, what does it mean when a material needs to solidify? Here's a hint for you. Think about what happens when something liquid gets hard. That's it. It's when a material becomes hard as it cools. The perfect example is wet cement or concrete. It starts as a paste, and then it solidifies into a rock-hard block you can walk on. Okay, this one's a little trickier, but I have a feeling you've got this. Why do we even bother processing raw materials anyway? Can you come up with 2 good reasons? Let's see how you did. Well, we process them to make them stronger or more durable so they last longer. We might want to make them waterproof, or sometimes we just want to make them more beautiful. If you got any of those, you're doing great. Now for a real classic, a technique that humans have been using for thousands of years. What is weaving? Weaving is this really cool method where you take fibers and you cross them over and under each other, both horizontally and vertically. It's a simple pattern that makes a much, much stronger material, like you'd see in a basket or a piece of fabric. And for the last question in this section, let's talk about weaving's close cousin. What is braiding? It's simple, right? Braiding is just twisting 3 strands together in a special pattern to make them way stronger than they were by themselves. You see it everywhere. Awesome job on part 1. Okay, so you've totally nailed the basics. Now let's see how all that stuff turns into the cool products we see and use every single day. Welcome to part 2. First question for this round. If you break your arm, hopefully not for real, the doctor wraps it in something to keep it totally still. What is that processed material called? The answer is plaster. Yep, they mix up that powder with water, wrap it on, and then it solidifies really fast into a hard protective cast. Okay, next question. Just look at any building or sidewalk outside, and you are definitely looking at this stuff. What is the recipe for concrete? Get this, the recipe for one of the strongest materials on Earth is actually pretty simple. You just need 4 things: cement, water, gravel, and sand. Mix them all up, and you get one of the most important building materials in the entire world. Okay, let's talk ceramics. Think of your coffee mug or a dinner plate. What's one special property that makes these things so useful? Oh, there are a few great answers here. Ceramics are hard, so they don't scratch easily. They're durable, they're waterproof, and some are even fire resistant. Any one of those is a fantastic answer. Now, we love glass because you can see through it, but it has one key property that's also a pretty big disadvantage. What do you think it is? It's brittle, which is really just a fancy way of saying it breaks easily. That's kind of the trade-off you make for it being so clear. This next one is a huge one. Plastic is literally everywhere. But do you know what raw material it actually comes from? You might not believe this, but plastic is made from oil. That's right, the same stuff we use for fuel gets transformed into all the different kinds of plastic we use every day. Okay, we know plastic can be molded into almost any shape, right? So why is it so perfect for things like phone cases, TV remotes, or the plugs on your cords? There's a really important safety reason. Because it's an insulator, and that's super important. It means electricity can't travel through it, which protects all of us from getting a nasty electric shock. All right, here we are. The final question of the quiz. Think about a can of paint. What are the two main things you need to make it? And the answer is oil and pigment. You've got the oil, which is the liquid part that lets you spread it around, and then you've got the pigment, which is the powder that gives it all the amazing color. And that's a wrap. You did it. You made it all the way through. Fantastic job. Whether you knew them all or learned something new, you are officially a materials master. So, I'm going to leave you with one last question to think about. Now that you're an expert, what amazing new material will you create to change the world? Thanks so much for playing.